Hello and welcome to today's session for those of you joining live and for those of you who are jumping on the recording. So for today's session, we're going to keep working on our core stability and then taking that up a little level to be working more on our balance. So obviously our core is absolutely fundamental to balance. Okay, so this is how we're kind of working in a progressive way. So it's quite nice with these sessions to work through them like as if they're little modules, because we are building each week on the week before. So you're going to need a chair. You're going to need a nice something to go under your head, so a folded blanket or a cushion under your head. You've got your yoga mat and a strap, so that might be a scarf or a TheraBand. Yoga strap is really good, and a block. So if you can have a yoga block, a standard yoga block, you could use a sturdy kitchen roll or a cushion. It's going to be something that we pop between our legs to do a bit of core work as well. All right, so let's just gently come down through side lines. So if there's a stronger side, I would always go down through that stronger side to bring yourself to our lovely semi-supine, our position of functional or constructive rest. So our feet are hip width apart, our knees are pointing to the ceiling, checking what, as we always do, what's under your head. Is it supporting your head, neck and spine to be in alignment without that sensation of your head being pushed forward and there's being any contraction in the throat, or equally feeling like your head's falling backwards, so finding that length. And taking a moment just to remember that we're never going to push into pain in our classes. Really honouring yourself to listen in to what your body's telling you. So we're just taking ourselves to where we're feeling our muscles working, maybe feeling a deep stretch, but we're never pushing it into strain. And just really honouring this time for yourself. So let's just begin by taking 3 nice sighing breaths. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, sigh out through your mouth, letting go on that out breath of any cares or worries. And on your next exhalation, seeing if you can actually visualize your to-do list being exhaled. And on the third exhalation, just letting go of any tension that you can feel in the body. So let's just really allow the body to soften into the support underneath you for a moment. So really allowing yourself to be held, feeling the weight of your head sinking down into the support underneath. Really allow the back of the head to soften and widen. So just allowing the head to take up more space. And that might mean that also the front of the face softens. So letting any furrows in the brow to soften and release. Softening the eye area. Releasing any tension you might be holding in the jaw. So you might want to give your jaw a little wiggle. And bringing the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, if that's where it's sitting. So bringing the tongue to rest just behind the lower teeth. And then coming down through the neck, allowing the shoulders to release towards the floor a little bit more. You might even want to kind of tuck your shoulder blades under. coming down through your spine. So, almost visualize yourself as if a lift or a white light coming down through your spine. So you're moving vertebra by vertebra all the way down to the pelvis. Taking a moment at the pelvis to visualize those three bones, the sacrum, that lovely wedge-shaped bone in the middle with the tailbone at the bottom, and the two hip bones to either side. So it's almost like a butterfly shape, with the hip bones being the butterfly wings. Can you let those wings open and soften into the floor? So really getting that sense of allowing yourself to take up more space. Bringing our attention into the back of the body and your connection with the earth. And then finally coming down the legs to the feet and feeling your feet connecting with the ground, with the earth. So hopefully feeling a little bit more embodied, in our bodies. So that's the work of somatics. It's about coming into the body. So hopefully dropping out the busyness of the mind and coming into the steadier state of the body. And from here, we're going to just do a little bit of a breathing practice. So you might want to bring your hands onto your belly to feel the breath moving. Or you might want to notice the breath moving at the nostrils. So wherever kind of you can connect with more easily. And let's do some breathing and counting. So I'd like you to breathe in for a count of 4 through the nose. And out for a count of 6 through the nose. In for 4. Out for 6. In gently for 4. Out gently for 6. And carrying on with your own rhythm. And as the mind likes to do, it might wander off from the practice, just gently coming back to the breathing and counting. In for 4. And out for 6. Signaling to the nervous system that we are safe. In this moment, we are safe. And the next time you come to the end of your exhalation, letting go of that practice. Good. And then we're going to just start to come into some movement. So let's take our right knee and hug it to our right armpit now. Okay, so just start gently. Let's circle the ankle one way on the right side. Waking up the ankle and then the other way. And then releasing that leg down. Then the left knee hugs into the left armpit, circle one way. And the other way. Good. And then releasing the foot back down to the floor. We're going to take our strap, okay, and we're going to bring our right leg so that the knee and the hip are at 90 degrees. Take the strap behind your right thigh and just make sure that your upper body is relaxed down towards the floor. Okay, and we're going to do something called fascial flossing here. Okay, so this is flossing for the sciatic nerve that runs down the back of the leg all the way. It branches into different nerves as it goes, but what we're doing here is we're flossing it so that that nerve can move nice and freely in the back of the leg. So from here, we're going to just gently straighten that right leg to the point where you feel the stretch of the sciatic nerve with your right ankle at 90 degrees. When you can feel that sciatic nerve, so that stretch, kind of a neural kind of stretch at the back of the leg, then from there, keeping the leg like that, we're going to pump the ankle joint. So that goes up and down, up and down. That's when we're flossing the nerve. Yeah, so you get it to that deep stretch and then we floss it. We really don't want to be pushing into pain because that's just going to inflame that nerve. Okay, so we just want to be stretching it. Good. And then bringing that leg down. So keep the right ankle at 90 degrees and then just stretch. Bringing, like bending and flexing now the whole of the leg, but just taking it to that nice stretch. Good. And then releasing that leg down. How does that leg feel in comparison to the left leg? And then let's change sides. So we're going to floss on the other side. So we get the strap behind the thigh, we get the hip and the knee at 90 degrees. We bend the left ankle to 90 degrees. We straighten the leg until we can feel that nice deep stretch through the back of the leg. And then when we get there, we pump, pump, pump with the ankle joint. Flossing. Good. And then we're keeping the ankle at 90 degrees, just gently coming down and then back up again. So just getting that nice stretch, but again, not pushing into discomfort. Very nice. And release that leg off. How does that leg feel? So just bringing curiosity to the practice. So staying as embodied as we can. So just really feeling into sensation, noticing when the mind wanders off to, oh, I need to be doing this later, blah, 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 all of the babble, and just seeing if you can drop back into what you are feeling. Okay. So we're going to just get into the hip joint a little bit now. So let's bring our right hand on top of our right knee. We're going to circle that hip. Maybe let's start clockwise. Good. So you might want to be holding that knee with your hand to begin with. Keep your left knee pointing to the ceiling because it's going to want to probably fall in or out. And then go the other way. Good. And let's engage the core now. So let's release the hand. So we're not supporting that leg anymore. We're going to take the circles clockwise again. So as we began, but now we're going to engage the core. So belly button draws back towards the spine. Gently pull up on the pelvic floor, which would be like stopping yourself pee mid-flow. Let's take that knee the other way. And we're using the core to really support the spine to stay neutral, which means you've got that nice little curve in the lower back that remains as we move. And if you can't keep that nice curve because it's sometimes suddenly Your spine's rounding into the floor or over the arching, then make the circle smaller. Good. Let's release down now with that leg, and we'll change to the other side. So the left hand on top of the left knee, circling. Let's start clockwise, mobilizing the hip joint. It's a deep ball and socket joint, the hip. And do it by doing movements like this. Let's go the other way. We're really helping to lubricate the cartilage, which is on the inside of the hip joint and the end of the femur, that long bone of the leg. And then let's release the hand, go back into the clockwise, but you're doing it without the support of the hand now. Engage your core to control that movement. You might want to play with the speed that you move the leg. The quicker you do it, the easier it will be. So it's nice to do it slower and really work on creating stability and strength around that joint. Good. Let's go the other way. Really noticing the core muscles firing up. Really nice. And release out. Bringing your feet flat to the floor. Let's just shake the legs. So it's almost like you're shaking the muscles away from the bones here for a moment. Good. So let's come into a little bit more of the core work, okay? So last week we were working on engaging the core and then straightening the leg, either keeping the leg against the floor or hovering above the floor. Okay, so this week, either stick with one of those exercises if that felt enough. Otherwise, you might want to have a go at progressing a little bit to bringing the hips to 90, the knees to 90, and the shins are parallel to the floor. And here we engage the core, so you draw your belly button back towards the spine, pull it up on the pelvic floor as we exhale to bring the right heel to tap onto the floor. Once your heel's there, inhale and let your core be soft. As you exhale, engage your core to bring that right leg back up to meet the other one. Good. Inhale here. Core is soft. Exhale, engage the core. Left heel taps. Inhale, soft core when you reach the floor. Exhaling again, engage your core to come back up. Good. If this is too challenging, go back to just pushing the leg along the floor. Inhale, exhale, engage your core, right heel taps. Inhaling, soft core. Exhale, engage the core to bring that leg back up. Good. Inhale, soft. Exhale, engage, left heel taps. Inhale when you're there. Exhale to engage the core to come back up. Good. Hug the knees into the chest and rock from side to side. So that's much more challenging than what we were doing last week. So if that doesn't feel okay, then remember you can always do straightening the leg along the floor with the exhalation. Yeah. Good. Let's bring the feet together to touch and the legs to touch in the midline. Let's bring the elbows in front of the body with your fingertips behind your ears. We're just going to work into the lymphatic system a little bit here. So we're going to open the elbows and the knees as you inhale. As you exhale, close elbows, close knees. Inhaling, opening. Exhale, close. So really try and drop the breath down into the belly, getting that diaphragmatic breath going. And this is going to be really getting the lymphatic system really pumping harder, changing the pressure of the groins and the armpits. Inhale as we open. Exhale as we close. Good. Let's do one more. The next time your knees and elbows connect, let's release your arms down by your sides. Really good. Feet come back to hip width apart, and we just come into our bridging. Okay, so for bridging, we're going to either just lift the pelvis off the floor, or we can work with the arms at the same time. So either inhaling, and as we lift up the pelvis, we come up, we could add the arms in if you want, arms up and overhead. Exhale, engage your core to lower the arms and the pelvis. But if that feels a bit much, just lifting the pelvis up and down. So we inhale to rise, soft core. Exhale, engage the core to lower with control as the hands come back down. Very nice. Good. Inhaling up and over. Keeping that nice tone in the buttocks, but we're not overly clenching. Good. Good. And then the next time your pelvis reaches the floor, just letting your hips wiggle from side to side. So releasing any tension that's built up in the lower back there. And then we're going to come into a little bit more of a stretch and a bit of a twist. So this is not suitable for anybody that has any osteoporosis in the spine or any instability in the spine. So just being aware of that. We're going to do a rotation of the spine here. So miss it out if that's appropriate for you. So the feet are as wide as your mat here. Okay, knees bent up. And we could either have the hands by the sides, palms facing up. They could be at 90 degrees, palms facing up, or you could bring them into a cactus shape with the back of the arms against the floor. If that feels like your upper arms, not upper arms, your forearms are hovering above the floor, you might want to put some cushions in underneath to bring the floor up to meet you. And what we're going to be doing is stretching through any scar tissue that might be on the front of the body. So just take this super gently. Okay, let's just start by letting the knees rock from side to side, but just don't go to your full range straight away. Keep in control here. Use your core just to gently work into that stretch. Mobilizing the spine. Mobilizing the hips as we look kind of like a windscreen wiping the hips. Just be careful if this is at all uncomfortable. And then the next time the legs go to the left, let's let them go all the way over. And if you feel like you're holding on to your legs at all, so if there's any tension in the back or the hips, then you might want to pop support underneath the legs or between the legs. So it might be cushions or blocks or pillows, because you want to be able to relax into this. Okay, so we're going to spend about 8 breaths here. And what you can do is really use the breath to massage the body from the inside out. So if you notice areas of tightness, of tension, of maybe scar tissue, take the breath there. Breathe into those areas. So use props if you need to. This should be comfortable. Wiggling the jaw, noticing if you're holding tension unnecessarily in the jaw, the face. Good. And then let's inhale together when you're ready. Exhale, engage your core to bring your knees back to center and gently go into the other side. Now take this super slowly because it might be very different on the other side. What do you need under or between the legs or both to make this comfortable? This is also a twist of the internal organs, so it's going to help to squish stale blood from the internal organs of the abdomen. And it's going to stretch the fascia, which goes around all of our organs internally. And it's the fascia that allows us to twist. And for them, when we come back out of our twist, for the organs to go back to where they were. It's pretty incredible. Use the breath to massage gently from the inside out. Good. Let's take a breath in together when you're ready. Exhale, engage your core to bring your knees back to center. Arms can come back down, and just let's have a little shake out. So just shake the body out. Stroking the arms, shaking the legs. You can do a little bit of like raspberries with the lips. So you inhale through the nose. Raspberry lips. So don't worry about the sound because you're all muted or on the recording. Raspberries with the lips. And releasing down. So just coming just down with the legs, down with the arms for a moment, and just feeling the effects of that practice. I've got really itchy lips now. Itchy face. Good. Very nice. So let's just come gently to roll onto your most comfortable side. Take a moment just to take a breath there. Maybe a nice sighing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when we're ready, coming up to sitting. Good. And from sitting, just take a moment here just to let the blood come to head. And when you're ready, we're going to come up into standing and we're going to have our chair accessible to us. So just making sure that you haven't got anything that you're going to trip on. It's probably best to take your socks off. If you're on your mat, you don't want to skid over. So we've been working on the core. So we're going to bring that awareness and conditioning of the core into our practice in standing. I'm just going to change my video position. Okay. So let's start by using the back of the chair as our support. So we're going to just have our chair next to us so that we can take a hold of it. So you could either, I'm going to have my right leg closest to my chair. Check your chair is stable and it's not going to scoot off. So chairs with their wheels are not great. Okay. And let's just start by coming into our mountain pose. So just take a moment, feet are hip width apart, just noticing the distribution of weight from left foot to left foot. So just maybe let yourself sway a little bit side to side, a little bit forwards and back. Okay, that's really nice. And just coming to feel balance between your big toe mound, little toe mound, and the outside of each heel. All right, and then we're going to come up through the knees. The knees are a little bit off lock. The tailbone is released, so we're not tucking it under or equally pushing it away from us. Just find that place where your tailbone feels like it's released. And you've got a nice little curve in the lower back there, so just feel for that curve. Shoulders draw back and down, so opening through the front of the chest. And that hopefully when we open through the front of the chest, the palms can come forwards. Good. And then releasing the neck, so the neck is soft. Okay. So from here, And we're gonna come into a little bit of up and down on to the tiptoes. Okay, so you might want to hold your chair completely, right? So you've absolutely got it. Or you might want to do piano fingers. Okay, so you might just have your fingertips resting, so it's just giving you that little bit of support and reassurance. Yeah, or you might feel like you don't need it at all. So do what's right for you today. Okay, and then we're going to come up onto the balls of the feet as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to lower down. Good. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, lower those heels down. Good. So as we come up, our core can be soft. As we lower down, we're going to engage the core. Inhale, soft. Exhale, low. Lovely. Really nice one. Seeing, well done. Keep your gaze ahead of you at eye level if you can. So what we're really training here is that the proprioception, so it's the nerves around the ankles, okay, that are really helping to get that feedback to say where your body is in space, okay? So we're training all of that. We're using the core to help us with the balance and stability as well. And this is going to be strengthening all the muscles, ankles, and in the legs. Good. Let's do one more, but take rest if you need to. Good, and then releasing that, shaking that off. Very, very nice. All right, so let's take it up another level. So now I want you to kind of either do, you've got two options here. So either we kind of just stepping forwards, we keep feet hip width apart and we step forward with the right leg. Or you could imagine you're on a tightrope. Okay, so choose what's right for you. Either the feet are a little bit apart, that's going to give you more stability, or you're going to be on a tightrope. And then how much support do you need with the hands? Okay, so engage the core here. Piano fingers, holding or letting go or hovering. So just seeing what's right for you. Noticing maybe that wobbling in the ankle, which is all really, really good. It means we're working into these systems, strengthening, breathing. Okay. Closing the vision off completely is going to mean that you're really, really challenging it. So just seeing what is right for you. Yeah. And then releasing it off. Good. Shaking it out. Woo. Woo, woo, woo. Well done. Okay, we can do the same on the other side. So stepping forward with your left foot now. So either hip width, or you can like work towards coming to be on your tightrope. So you just find what's the right level of challenge for you today. Yeah. Remembering we're not there with you, so you need to keep yourself safe. Fingertips, piano fingers, or holding, or hand hovering, or maybe not there at all. See what you need. Belly button draws back towards the spine. Feel the length through the spine. Good. Closing down the vision completely if you want to try that, if that feels safe. But this may well be enough. Very nice. Good. And then releasing off. Good. Shake it out. Very good. But really, really nice work. Let's now do our tree, and we're working towards a full tree here. Okay, so for our tree, you might want to change which side your chair is just to kind of balance you out a little bit, or stick with where you are. It's really fun. Okay, so let's ground down through the left foot first, okay? I want you to really imagine you are growing roots with your feet, okay? Or from your feet, sorry. So your roots can go down deep and wide through your room. Check with your hip. So look, my hip loves to go to the side. Let's see if we can tuck it in and create some strength around that hip joint so that it's straight, but not locking the knee, okay, on that standing leg. Okay, then we're going to take your right foot, either keep the toes on the floor, and maybe we can rest the right heel against the inside of the left shin. Or you might want to bring the foot onto the inside of the shin. What you want to make sure is that the pointy bits of the front of your hips are facing forward. So by taking the knee out, it can kind of drag us around. So just keep making sure that the hips are facing forward. So you might want to bring the knee in a little bit. Push your foot into your leg into your foot. Piano fingers holding. Or maybe you want to bring like one hand into like a prayer position in front of the heart. Maybe you could bring the other hand. What's available to you today? Shoulders draw back and down. Your core is engaged. But whatever you do, don't put your foot on your knee joint. Yeah. Good. Maybe you wanted to grow some branches. Ooh. Good. Well, look, I am a tree in the wind, like the storm here today. And if you're wibbly wobbling, just lift the corners of your mouth. It helps. Have a good old laugh at yourself. It's all right. And then the hands come together above the head if they're there, all the way down through in front of the heart. And then we can release off. Woo! That's a lot of strength for the standing leg as well. So it's really, really good. Well done. Let's go for the other side now. So right foot grounds down, you spread the toes of that right foot. You really imagine, visualize those roots going down and wide. Tuck your right hip in. Nice strength building there. And do the same as you did on the other side. So we keep some symmetry. We don't want to be walking around wonky for the rest of the day because we're overdeveloping one side and not the other. Okay, so either the toes remain on the floor and the heel comes into the inner shin on the other side, or the foot comes onto the inner side of the shin on the right. Push your leg into your foot and your foot back into your leg. Lengthen through the spine. Maybe you're holding on completely. Maybe your piano fingers. Maybe you're hovering over the top of the chair. Maybe you could come into the prayer position with one hand or both hands. Seeing if we can have the gaze at eye level ahead of you. If you wanted to have a go at growing some branches, then you feel free to do so. But knowing that yoga is all about these levels, so we've always got something to work towards. There's always another level, and then actually if something's not feeling right one day, we can come back down through the different levels before. It's really lovely like that. And then the hands could come together if they were up, all the way down through to the heart, and release off and shake it out. Very nice. So now we're gonna bring the chair around. Okay, make sure it's feeling sturdy, and we're going to come to stand in front of the chair, feet hip width apart. Noticing that that's chopping my face off again with that. Okay, so here, let's just do a little bit of I like to call it like a sit to stand teasing. Okay, so it's that little practice. So our feet are hip width apart. Apologies because you can't see my feet. Let's see if I can. That's better. Okay, so it's just making sure that we can feel the chair at the back of our legs. So we always, when we're going to come and sit down, it's a great practice to make sure you can feel the chair at the back of your legs. Yeah. And so what we're going to do is we're going to think about pushing our bottom, keeping our spine long, pushing your bottom towards the back of your chair, touch down, but don't sit down, and then come back up with the core engaged. So we inhale, we tap down. Exhale, engage the core to bring you back to stand. Good. Inhaling, tap down, back of the legs. Exhale, engage the core to come back up. Good. So you're really pushing the bottom back. Our nose comes over our toes, And then we engage the core to stand. Good, really, really nice. And if going that low is just like, oh, I can't not sit down, just don't go so far. Go to the point where you feel you have the control to come back up. So we're just working it into some squats here. And this is something to maybe carry into the rest of the week. It's like when you go to sit down, can you do a tap, come back up, and then fully sit down? Yeah. So doing one tap down before you sit. So let's all come to sit now. Very nice. So the slower you go in your descent, the more you're going to be strengthening these quadricep muscles. So these are the muscles at the front of the thighs that can lose strength quite quickly, lose muscle mass. And actually, if we work on building these muscles up, then we can really help with our fatigue levels, because it means that, you know, activities of daily living won't feel so difficult, and hopefully that means we're going to have more energy left over for the things you want to do. Okay, so let's just complete our practice today by bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart center. Softening the gaze, just allowing yourself to come inwards. Hopefully feeling warm, feeling your heart beating above that, underneath that top hand. After it's worked so hard, you've done really well today, challenging the balance, really working on your core. So we're really working on creating that strong foundation that we can all like build upon. But coming back to that sense of nurture for yourself. So this kind of a handhold, hopefully for you, feels nurturing and gentle. So really remembering to treat ourselves like that we do the people that we love. Remembering that, you know, for us to be able to look after other people around us, we need to make sure that our cup is full first. So really taking a little moment to send gratitude to yourself for making the effort to be on your mat today, for this time for movement, connection with your breath, which is there as your anchor, and hopefully some moments to connect with your inner self in the busyness that is life. And gently releasing the hands, coming back into the space. And I thank you all for coming and sharing your practice today. And we've got a lovely group chat, so always ask me questions. If there's things you want to work on, then just let me know and we can weave that into our sessions. But yeah, have a lovely rest of the day. Drink plenty of water.